burnout and high-performing individuals, and about silent cracking and neurobiological resilience, and how solution-focused brief therapy can help to cope with these challenges. I want to take a moment and think about how you've been feeling lately. Maybe you might be someone who seems to have challenges. Maybe you are thriving at work, checking off goals, handling responsibilities from outside. Everyone sees you as unstoppable, successful. However, maybe you have noticed that no matter how much you accomplish, you feel as if it's not enough, and you feel drained. Maybe your thoughts never stop racing, or you feel anxious even when everything seems under control. And perhaps you have some sleeping challenges. Maybe you are oversleeping, or you cannot you cannot have a good sleep, and your body might feel tense, or small tasks might feel overwhelming, even though you are performing at your best. And if this sounds familiar, you might be experiencing what experts call as highly functioning anxiety. And sometimes it's also referred as quiet cracking. And unlike as classic burnout, you don't slow down, and you don't take a visible step back. You keep delivering, smiling, and meeting expectations, but underneath, your nervous system is overloaded, and your emotions reserves are depleted, and even your brain chemistry can be shifting in ways that can have lasting effects for you. This isn't weakness, it's the hidden cost of high performance, the pressure of to succeed quietly, taking a toll on your mental and physical health, and often without anyone noticing. And in this webinar, we are going to discuss how to recognize these early signs of depression, and why your mind and body reacts this way, some neurobiological mechanics behind it, and also we will learn to ask yourself the right questions that can help to understand what you need in order to heal, to overcome challenges, and to embrace your mental well-being. And by the end, you will not only understand what's happening inside your brain, but also you will learn how to take actionable steps to recover. Burnout is not a subtle erosion process that unfolds over months or even years. And there is a 12-stage burnout cycle, which was developed by Herbert Fredenberger and Gail North. And it explains how this process is initially masked by positive and appreciated behaviors. And for high-performing people, this journey usually begins with a drive to prove oneself at this stage. Extreme ambition and grim determination are displayed, and behaviors rewarded by society and institutions are at this stage, and in reality the first building blocks of a future collapse. So in a sense, high expectations set by cultures or countries or people around you might be also a factor that contributes to your burnout. As the process advances, the individual begins to neglect their own needs, and the belief that I can solve every problem by working masks the signals of nervous system. And for instance, the first stage includes drive to prove oneself. As we have discussed, it's excessive ambition and striving to be indispensable, and as if their self-worth tied to achievement. And this can be related also with childhood experiences. If during the childhood you were receiving love or care just when you were achieving something, or you were working a lot, this might be an automatic behavior learned in the childhood or in the early ages, and therefore it can be difficult for a person to stop, and they might find themselves overworking, overstudying, and overachieving. And the second stage, called working more, where person refuses to rest, and there is an increased workload, and also it's accompanied by fear of losing control, and they might be fearing that they might lose their job, or they might have challenges in their career, and therefore each time when they have any thoughts or anxiety related with it, they react to it as overworking, overstudying, and overdoing. And the third stage includes neglecting needs, where A person might deprive themselves of sleep, nutrition, or social bonds, and they are focused just on their work. And the fourth stage includes suppressing conflicts, ignoring problems, and irritability can be seen during this stage, where their defense mechanisms start to get activated, and in a sense their body starts to give some reactions and signals that they need help, that they need more rest probably. The next stage called revisiting values, where a person stops enjoying things they used to enjoy. Maybe they stop doing their hobbies, pursuing their hobbies, activities, and work becomes identified with identity. And the next stages include denial of emerging problems. It may include blaming other people around them, beginning to detach from reality, and social withdrawal, shots, using alcohol or medications in order to cope, and saving energy just for work. And in the next stages, a person might experience behavioral changes, noticeable personality changes, anger outbursts, and chronic nervous system arousal, hyperarousal, and depersonalization, alienation from self and the world, emotional blunting. And at the end, it might lead to inner emptiness, depression, and full burnout. And this danger for high-performing individuals lies in the fact that the first 7 stages are often interpreted by modern world culture as leadership qualities or high commitment. So in a sense, a person who might be experiencing these symptoms can be accepted as a normal person who is just a successful person, a leader. And therefore, it's important to pay attention to these signals, because they might be showing that you are slowly about to arrive into burnout. And noticing these signs early can help to give yourself the needed care and the rest that you really need. When a high-performing mind reaches its limits, it often gives subtle signals that are noticed too late, and research shows that these individuals secretly experience the following symptoms. For instance, previously thrilling achievements no longer evoke any feeling, life loses all its colors, and they experience times of anger, disproportionate to their professional image, or deep inner restlessness, or minor setbacks. And they might experience difficulties with concentration, decision making, unable to make even simple daily choices, difficulties focusing, and it can also lead to fatigue, chronic shoulder, back pain, digestive problems, and especially stress-related signs of teeth grinding, which is called as bruxism. And these signs are warnings from the nervous system, yet high performers try to silence them by working harder, which accelerates the burnout cycle. And you may feel like as long as you aren't tired, you are fine, and you can tell yourself, I can handle this, I'm performing well, so I must be okay. But there is the reality that this feeling or lack of feeling is a biological error, and your nervous system may be stuck in chronic hypervigilance. According to HPA-axis, the system that normally manages stress well, it turns on when you face a challenge or there is a situation that might require your attention. However, when the stress passes, when everything is over, this system gets off. However, with high performers like you, it can stay switched on for a very long time, and as if somebody has forgot to switch off the lights, and it might keep your body and mind constantly alert, even when there is no threat, there is nothing to feel scared, there is no stress. That's why you might appear calm and productive on the outside, while your nervous system quietly strains itself on the inside. And you might notice that even when life looks like normal, you feel restless, tense, and constantly wired, and maybe you think, I shouldn't feel this way, I'm doing everything right. Perhaps your sleep is disrupted, your mind won't switch off, or even small tasks feel draining. And recognizing this is not a weakness, it's a signal that your body and mind need support. And think about moments when you felt calm, energized, or fully in control. Maybe it was a morning run, a quiet moment with a friend, or an engage in project that didn't feel overwhelming. These exceptions actually show that your nervous system can relax and function differently, and that you already have access to moments of balance and everything you need in order to relax, to reset your mind, to recharge, and to heal. And also, oftentimes we focus on the problems, on the burnout. We're trying to understand ourselves, but we forget to think about what we want is instead. So, for instance, if you are the someone who is experiencing these symptoms, if you have noticed that burnout was slowly decreasing, what you would like to feel instead? Which version of you would you like to see there? Is it a calm version, kind version, energized version, full of life version? Which of these versions would you like to see, and how would you know that this version is slowly showing up, and what difference would it make for you to become that version at that moment, and what difference would it make for the other people around you? What change it can create, and what would let you know that you are really being that person? And imagine a future where you can maintain high performers, for instance, without hidden cost to your mind and your body. And if you're like setting goals is important, it's important to decide what kind of change you want to see in yourself. For instance, if your goals include still being successful, still being happy, still being performing well, however, without burning out, without experiencing these symptoms, how would you know that you are doing this? Have you done this before in the past? What helped you to achieve this outcome? Which strategies, which habits, which environments, which people helped you to make that possible? And which qualities did you use for this to happen? What happened exactly before achieving this outcome? And which routines did you keep? Which activities were you doing? How you were using self-care for yourself in order to stay calm even when there was a lot of stress, or you were performing well, or you had a lot of expectations, you had a lot of responsibilities. And for instance, imagine that this already has happened. Your desired outcome is already here, and you are feeling light, focused, or energized, or focused on your project, on your work, without burning out. How does your morning would feel? What would you be doing during those times? Would you feel calm and ready instead of tense or rushed? And what would be different about your workday? Would you notice clarity and focus instead of constant pressure? And what might have helped you to achieve this sense of feeling? What might contributed to it? How you would be handling stress? Would you be responding intentionally instead of reacting automatically? And how would your relationships feel? Would you be present, patient, and connected instead of distracted or irritable? And what's the first small sign you would notice that tell you that things are different? So if we continue to talk about this HPA axis, there is a term called HPA axis rigidity. And according to it, you may feel energetic, focused, and unstoppable, like you are powering through your day with constant drive. And on the surface, it feels like strength, but here is the truth that energy is illusionary. Your body might be left in the flight mode all the time, which suppresses essential functions like digestion, immunity, and cellular repair. And this is the classic wired but tired style. Your mind is alert, but your body is quietly exhausted. So this can be seen with high achievers when they seem as if they are performing well, when they are doing all of their responsibilities, but their body signals that they need rest. So why can't you relax even when you want to? For high-performing people, for instance, like you, stillness might feel like vulnerability, like resting might feel uncomfortable. Maybe you were not used to rest when you were a child. Maybe you were overworking, overstudying, and this was accepted as a normal habit, style of life. And that's why maybe when you are trying to rest or relax or just do nothing, you feel uncomfortable about it, and your mind starts to tell you that there is something wrong with it, with the rest, and it can be difficult to spend time for yourself, find time for yourself. And you might catch yourself thinking, I should check my emails, I need to prepare for the next meeting. And these are not just habits. Your nervous system is scanning for possible threats, maybe in your childhood or in the past. If you were resting, you were having negative consequences, or maybe there are certain experiences you had that lead you to think that way, or your brain has coded it in that manner. And right now, if you are faced with uncertainty or you are starting to lose control, maybe it's difficult for you to rest and to recharge because of these reasons. Try to think about moments when you were able to really rest, when you felt connected to your real authentic self, when you were really enjoying your rest, relaxing, or think about times when you were still working, still producing, creating, leading the projects, but you didn't feel burnout and you were able to recharge. What were you doing differently during those times? What was different during those moments? What allowed your mind and body to relax, and even briefly? These moments are not a coincidence. They are the clues and the evidence that your nervous system can recalibrate, and you already know what works for you well. And imagine a day where your body and mind are both in balance. Picture yourself waking up rested and energized, but not because cortisol is forcing you to feel awake, but because your body genuinely feels ready. And ask yourself, how would your mornings look like if your mind didn't immediately jump to work or task? How would you spend your breaks?